Good evening. My name is Nicholas Setaro. My presentation is on the House Aragon and the Kingdom of Naples and how it relates to Shakespearean play. Just some quick background on the Kingdom of Naples. Naples is the state right there, highlighted in red. They are in the southern part of Italy, close to Sicily. And Sicily and Naples politically have been united mostly throughout history. Naples was previously ruled by the Hohenstaufen family. Someone notable of the Hohenstaufen line of emperors was Charles of Anjou, who happened to be the brother of Louis IX, who was a French king. Charles wound up naming Naples the capital of Italy and took that title away from Palermo. Charles was a tough ruler who put high taxes on Sicilian people, and this actually was part of the Sicilian Vespers, which was a revolt by Sicilian people, a civil war, if you will, which weakened Sicily to a point that led to the Alfonso V rule. He became known as the King of Two Sicilies, which included Sicily and Naples. That's, as I said earlier, they are tightly knit, the two. And this title was actually passed down to not only his son, but his grandson, Ferdinand I and II. Alfonso V is actually key in this presentation, so just keep in mind his name. Now this is the House of Aragon. The House of Aragon is from Spain. The House of Aragon was actually started by Sancho III, who was known as Sancho el Grande, or Sancho the Great. He built a large empire, which he actually wound up later breaking it down into 4 pieces and divvying up the pieces to his son. Sons, actually, all 4 of them. Alfonso I wound up actually taking lead in Aragon. He was able to get back many pieces of Aragon that were under Muslim rule, including Valencia, which is an important port. Peter III of Aragon wound up also taking control in Naples and Sicily after the Sicilian Vespers, as I mentioned earlier, the civil war in Sicily. This was key because this marked the initial rule of either Aragonese members or relatives of them. In 1442, Alfonso V, he conquered the Kingdom of Naples, which was big because it was an ongoing and long war, which ultimately the Kingdom of Naples fell to the House of Aragon. And Aragon and Castile actually were the blueprints for modern-day Spain. And the play of Shakespeare that I'm relating them to is A Merchant of Venice. Some quick background on The Merchant of Venice. Antonio is a merchant who loses his assets and in order to help a friend, winds up in debt to a Jewish man named Shylock. And the play revolves not only around relieving the debt of Shylock, but how a woman, Portia, who is newly rich, winds up disguised as a man saving the day. A big issue and how I relate this play to the House of Aragon and Kingdom of Naples is gender. Sicily was started being viewed as weak after the reign of King Robert because his daughter Joan I took over. When she took over rule, it was said that Sicily lost royal authority, which led to Joan II, her sister, taking over. Now, they were still viewed as weak because there was no heir due to the fact that she wasn't married or with children at the time. And in order to gain respect, she ruled with fear, and it is quoted that she brought anarchy to Sicily. Her rule led to also the rule of Charles of Anjou, which I mentioned earlier caused high taxes and eventually the Sicilian Vespers, the civil war. Gender was viewed as a weakness because the queen at the time, Joan II, didn't have any heirs, and which how I relate it to Merchant of Venice is by Portia. Not that Portia didn't have any heirs at the moment, but her father, beyond the grave, was trying to find a partner for her, which included 2 princes. And in order for her to have authority or have any dominance, she actually had to dress up as Dr. Balazar, who wound up ultimately saving Antonio's life from Shylock later on. Which also leads me to my next point of the issue with Shylock and Antonio, which is religion. Alfonso V took part in the Spanish Inquisition, and his kids continued on as well with the Roman Catholic Church. The Inquisition was led to the expulsion of Jewish people from Naples and Sicily and other parts of Italy, and this also wound up spreading to Spain and other parts of Europe as well. They would torture and kill Jews, and Jewish people wound up getting a bad name, which this led to a Venetian Inquisition, which closely monitored the government of Venice. It became bad to a point where Jewish people weren't even able to have lawyers, because no lawyer wanted to defend someone because they would that was seen as evil, because they would be grouped in with them as well, which explains the treatment of Shylock in Merchant of Venice. He is often called the Snake. He was called the Devil, and it got to a point where even in a trial where he was right, where he was owed money by Antonio, even the Duke of Venice stepped in and tried to reason with Shylock to get him to forgive the debt, even without money. It caused Shylock to even speak at his own court hearing for himself, because he could not find a representative. Excuse me. And this ultimately was decided by Portia in disguise, who solved the debt problem. I got this information from Britannica.com and Merchant of Venice. Thank you.